Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. Today we're talking about staying motivated, and particularly staying motivated as the seasons change. So depending on where you live, I know that here on the East Coast, it's starting to get darker out earlier. It's starting to get a little bit cooler outside. I personally am obsessed with fall weather. I think it's fabulous. Although even the darkness getting darker out earlier definitely affects my mood, my energy, and then a lot of people get anxiety actually around this time because they might struggle with seasonal depression. And we know that after this comes the darker days, the colder days. Those I do not enjoy at all. And so it can be really hard to motivate yourself or to continue doing maybe things that you were doing before when you're not feeling supported by your environment. And it is true. There's going to be a lot. You have to work a little bit harder to keep going. Obviously we know that when the sun's shining, when the weather's nice, it's a little bit more inviting. We might be more likely to go out for a walk. We might choose maybe foods that aren't super heavy, but as it gets colder and darker, we kind of want those comfort foods, right? Those things that are a little bit more homier. They might be, have a little bit more, salt or fat or whatever it is that's inside there that just makes us feel warm and cozy and all the things. And there's nothing wrong with eating those foods, as we know. It's just a matter of, I think, for a lot of people, it can be a challenge. And so why I wanted to come on here and kind of talk about it is a couple things. I mean, I'm sorry if you guys hear me say this all the time, but I think sometimes we know what we need to do, but we sometimes just need to be told and it needs to be repeated again and again. Where a lot of people struggle with motivation, especially around this time of year, is they think in their head, well, I mean, the holidays are coming. I'm not going to be able to do it perfectly. So what's the point, right? Going back to that all or nothing mentality. And if you're tired of hearing me talk about it, well, I'm tired of talking about it. But it's still so common. So many people are still struggling with this idea that, if I can't do it perfectly, or there's so much that I have to do, so they get overwhelmed and they don't make any changes at all. And then, they say, I'm going to start January 1st, and they kind of are just waiting for all of the things and all of the reasons to kind of somehow make it work, make it make sense. And unfortunately, it just doesn't. It's never going to feel like the right time. Or you might start out and it might be 2 solid weeks in, and then you kind of lose it afterwards. So when it comes to motivation, the secret actually isn't motivation at all. It's all about momentum, and it's learning that the small things consistently done over time actually lead to the big things. So rather than trying to drink more water, eat more vegetables, exercise, improve your sleep routine, start meditating, start journaling, and trying to do that all overnight, don't. Start with 1, maybe max 2 of those things and get really, really good at it, and then build off of that. That's what we call habit stacking. That's what we pride ourselves at being really good at doing here at Tips with Tony. And it's because we're focusing on one small change, which then you start to build the confidence and you start to see yourself making changes, feeling better. And you only want to do more of that. So you build off of that, and then you build off of that. And then all of a sudden you look back and you're like, oh, wow, I've made a lot of changes and I'm really proud of myself, right? So this is the time of year, guys, where you actually have the opportunity to work on your habits, work on your health, work on your mindset, so that come January 1st, you're not feeling like everything is all dependent on this giant, grandiose, elusive health goal or weight loss goal or something strict and rigid. And because that's really not necessary. And we know that doesn't work. So stop fooling yourself, right? It's not going to be somehow magically better and easier 2 months from now. Like, it's just not. If anything, if you choose to kind of procrastinate and push it off and push it off and push it off, it's only going to be harder come January 1st, right? So make your life easier by working on the little things you can do day to day. Okay. So a couple reminders. If you're going to a holiday party, if you're going to an event, even if like the leftover Halloween candy is around and you somehow want to make it, justify the fact that it's okay that you have a lot of it, and your version of that is either exercising excessively or skipping meals or decreasing your calories significantly, I'm going to advise you not to do that, right? That is a recipe for disaster, and that's how we stay stuck in the diet cycle, and that's how we never can break free, and we will never be able to achieve food freedom. So make sure that you're going into this season with a balanced mindset. That's always the priority. Is your mindset is always the most important thing, because it doesn't even matter. You can have the healthiest, most balanced plan, nutrition plan, exercise plan, all the things. That doesn't actually matter. It's the mindset behind it that does, right? And so you really need to make sure you're working on your mindset. And if you need help with that, I strongly encourage you to continue to listen to podcast episodes like this. Maybe grab a copy of my book, Once Upon a Diet, if you haven't yet. Keep things in your head that are kind of reminding you, like, that's, you've done that before. You've been there before. It's not helping you. Stop falling victim to this idea that it's helping. You're not. You're falling for the dangling carrot, right? You're like falling for the thing right in front of your face. You're losing sight of the long-term goal, right? So always focus on the long-term goal. Now, with that said, changes of seasons are there for a reason, right? And so I do believe that if you're coming out of, whether it's with your health goals or your business goals or whatever goals you have for yourself, and you've kind of been coming out of a sprint, or you've been going really hard, that you can't keep at that pace forever. So you might want to slow down a bit. So even like your version of balance, you can have more structured version of balance in one season and then like less structured balance in another, but there's still always balance there, right? If that makes sense. So what I mean by that is, like, maybe this season, maybe in the fall seasons, you do let yourself sleep a little bit more. Maybe it's, maybe you're not getting up crazy early, or, but you're still creating a morning routine, right? Like, you still have some sort of like morning routine, but it might not have to be at the crack of dawn anymore. Maybe that's too hard for you. Or just like your body's just like needs a little bit of a break. Maybe you're coming out of a season where you really enjoyed like high intensity interval training, or even like strength training. Like, you're really into like one form of exercise, and maybe this is your season to maybe embrace maybe like yoga or something maybe more like low intensity or moderate intensity rather than high intensity, right? So it's okay to change in seasons, and knowing that, maybe if you've been in a calorie deficit, now you're just choosing to maybe eat more in maintenance. Like, you're not supposed to live your entire life in a calorie deficit. And unfortunately, that's what so many people try to do. They're always trying to lose weight. And then they're shooting themselves in the foot because they're damaging their metabolism in the long run. So like, maybe this is your season for maintenance. If you're used to seeing the scale go up and down and up and down, up and down, then use this season as a way to just stay the same, and know that that's progress, and know that that's enough, and actually know that you should be really proud of yourself if you can get to a place where the number on the scale actually stays exactly the same. That's actually really awesome. So, maybe this is that season for you. Maybe this is the season for you of, I'm trying to think. What else? Maybe it's more like, maybe you've been working really hard on mind and body, right? So your overall health is mind, body, spirit. Maybe this is a season of spiritual growth for you. Maybe you fill out more of your time with whatever your version of spirituality is, and maybe you invest more of your time in that. And maybe you pull back a little bit on maybe exercise, or maybe, cooking, or whatever it is. It doesn't mean that you're not cooking. Doesn't mean that you're not exercising. It just means that maybe you used to spend like hours exercising because you really did enjoy it. Like maybe you would do, an hour 4 to 5 days a week. For some people, that's very sustainable and very consistent. And that's, can be very healthy and balanced. But maybe this season you're like, you know what, I'm going to just taper back a little bit to create space so I can do more spiritual work. So maybe my workouts are going to be like 30 to 45 minutes. And the last 15 to 30 minutes is more going to be maybe reading some sort of scripture if you're biblical, whatever it is, or doing a different type of meditation or trying a yoga class or, spirituality can be in so many forms for so many people. So it's completely up to you. Maybe making space to go back to church or synagogue or to pray or whatever it is. Literally, that's up to you. That's not my job. I am not here to tell you how to increase your spiritual, awakening per se. But figure out, maybe that's the season for you. And I think so many people are afraid of slowing down because they are afraid that they're going to be missing out on making progress. But we need to slow down to speed up. Right? And I'm trying, trust me, I don't record these podcasts because I have it all figured out. I record these podcasts because often what I'm teaching / preaching or whatever is what I need to hear. I need to hear it. I am going psycho over here. I have decided to try. I have my Tips with Tony business, as you know. I got my real estate license over the summer, and we just launched what's called the Dietitian Business Collective. We're a group of registered dietitians coaching other registered dietitian business owners how to grow and scale their businesses online. And so I literally have 3 businesses. Yeah. I'm crazy. And I didn't really, even this summer, I kind of knew that I was going to be entering into this like crazy season of kind of managing and juggling. And so in my mind, I was like, okay, you know what? The summer is for me to a lot of people aren't working right now. Like a lot of people are taking time off. I chose to kind of plant the seeds, and I was like, my schedule was lighter, but I didn't really do crazy amount of things this summer. Maybe traveled a little bit, whatever, but I pretty much worked most days. And now we're entering to the season where I need to pick it up because now I have 3 businesses that I want to continue to launch, scale, and grow. And I ended up getting sick last week because I burnt out, straight up burnt out. I mean, obviously there's other things that could be going on with my immune system, and I'm going to probably have another podcast about kind of strengthening that. But the root to all sort of inflammation, disease, sickness is stress. And how do we get stressed? We take on too much. So even though I eat healthy and balanced, and even though I exercise and sleep, and even though I meditate and I journal, subconsciously or even consciously on the surface, I'm doing too damn much. I'm doing too much. I need to delegate more. I need to slow the F down. I know this. Yet I know it's also easier said than done. But it's really helped me. Getting sick last week actually really helped me try to just reframe and take a breath and to just know it's going to get done regardless. And you can depend on your team, and it's, you can delegate and you don't have to do it all. And you, believe it or not, when you're rested, you're happier, you're healthier, you're more productive, you're more creative. And so with that said, it's okay. Slow down to speed up. That's what we need to do. We need to rest. We need to create space and time away. And so I'm challenging you to do it, and I'm challenging it with you. We're doing it together. Okay, I'm trying to not look at my phone after 9 p.m. Definitely started slacking over the weekend, but I'm going to give myself grace over the weekend. But during the week, I'm really trying to just put my phone down at 9 o'clock, not answering messages, not going on social media, not scrolling, none of that stuff. And I notice on the nights that I do that, I fall asleep faster. I wake up the next morning more well rested, and my brain just thinks more clearly. So that's one small thing that honestly is kind of hard to do. Especially when all of your businesses, you need to be on your phone, but it's just detaching from that and just letting go, and it's okay. And it's knowing that it's okay and doing it, one night and realizing, I could do it another night, and I could do it another night, and I could do it another night. And then I normally put my phone on Do Not Disturb from 10 p.m. later, but I changed it to do 9 p.m. and later. And, people are going to need to understand I'll get back to them in the morning. And if they're expecting me to answer them at 9:45 at night, well, then they get mad if I don't. Well, they're not your people. They're not my people. They're not your people. Let me tell you that. Okay. So that's one small change that you can make. But all that to say, I talked about like staying motivated and as the seasons change, and it's kind of, I guess where I'm getting, I always go on tangents, I apologize. Where I'm getting at is that like it might not always be your season to like try at 80 or 90%. And if you heard my podcast episode from last week, I love the concept of just really all you need to do is like 51%. I think as long as you're putting in an effort of 51% at all seasons, at all times, you're always going to be making progress. There might be seasons where you kick it up to 60% or 70% or 80%, maybe even 90% for a short season. And then you slowly start to like, all right, now I'm going to give myself 70% this season. So maybe that's my action item for you guys. I want you to really be honest with yourself. And I really want you to think about kind of where you've been kind of working at or navigating at, or I don't even know what the right term is, showing up as. You know, how much is it? 100 and 0? Is it 0, 0, 0? Is it like 101 and you're about to break down and cry, right? Like, where are you on this level of effort that you've been putting towards trying to stay motivated? And I want to challenge you that the secret to staying motivated, like I said, is momentum. And so it's always putting in effort, but not putting in maximum amounts of effort. So I want you to ask yourself, like, where am I choosing to be this season? Am I going to be at 51%? 40, not 40. We don't want to go less than 51. We're not doing 0. We're not doing 20. We're not doing 30. Am I 51%? Maybe 60%, 70%. Maybe you felt like you've come out of season of, rest and restoration. You're ready to jump in, go hard. So maybe for you, it's 80%. I'm gonna keep it at there. It's like, don't get this confused with you're 100% intimate. You're 100% committed to the process, right? But you're flexible in how you approach it, right? So you're 100% committed to the process, but you're flexible in that you're going to be giving maybe 80% this season. I don't know if I will go up past 80. I mean, you might, but I might be unrealistic, to be honest. But maybe 85, maybe 90, no more than 90, definitely no more than 90. All right. And then that way, if you're ever like stressed out or like you're feeling like you're diverting a bit, just ask yourself, where am I at? Am I giving myself that 51%? Am I giving 60% right now? Am I giving 70? And if you're not, why not? And then ask like, what small shift can I make to put in a little bit more effort, And it might be as simple as like turning the TV off and going to bed. Like, it might be that simple. But we know that one choice is never one choice, right? So that decision to turning off the TV, even in the middle of a show, I know how hard that is, trust me, but maybe it's the middle of a show and you're like, there's 20 minutes left. It's 10 o'clock. I told myself I'd be in bed by 10. I could just finish this episode. Or I can just stick to my commitments. I can click off. I can go to bed. And knowing that choice wasn't just the fact that like, woo, less TV, more sleep. It's more sleep means more energy, means less cravings, means more likely to hit a PR in the gym, means more focus, means less likely to snap at your kids or to snap at your boss or to snap at your partner or whatever it is. Like, that one choice is never just one choice. So be proud of yourself for making that choice. And continue to focus on making those small shifts. When you make those small shifts, that's how you stay motivated, because it's not truly motivation. It's more so just momentum. Like, you're choosing. Motivation is like, feels like it has to be forced, right? And motivation is like either, I really want to do this. Or I really got to do this, and that comes and goes. But momentum, it's kind of like, this is feeling good. I'm feeling good. I want to keep feeling good. So I'm going to keep acting in this way, choosing this way because I like the outcome. See the difference? Okay. I hope you love this episode. If you did, please take a screenshot of it, share it on your story, tag me at tips_Tony with an I, share it with a friend. If you have not yet subscribed, rated the podcast, left a review, please do that. I'm going to be reviewing all of the reviews and the comments from the podcast every single month. So between now and the end of November, and then those people are going to be entered into a raffle and they're going to get a $10 Amazon gift card. And I will also reach out to you directly. And if you don't want Amazon and you want something else like Starbucks or Dunkin', I don't care. I will just give you $10, whatever you want. But I really, really would appreciate it, because your likes, your comments, your reviews, it's actually what helps other people find the podcast. And so when other people listen to the podcast, they're helping to become healthier, more balanced, more energetic, more vibrant, more people living in their purpose. And that's all that I want. That's all that I want, is for everyone to be happier and healthier on this planet. So I would really appreciate it if you liked, rated, followed, wrote a review. Only rate it if we're going to give it 5 stars, but no, I'm just saying. Yeah, so 5-star rating would be fab. Honestly, no, a genuine comment would be awesome. And like I said, if you do that between now and the end of November, you are going to be entered into a raffle. So that's it. All right, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, this is Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.